Hi all, welcome to another Kingscrusher Banter Blitz, Sunday, 12:30 PM at Chess24. Okay, I'm just going to mute over here. I've got my window open for the birds tweeting. It's quite a humid day at the moment. It's a bit muggy, humid in London. Okay, I'm going to take the challenges from the first come first serve basis model. If I can avoid okay. The commutator. Hi. The commutator. I mean, commutative is some mathematical property, isn't it? Okay, so let's see. Commutator. Can I play the Sicilian Dragon in this first game? Is he going to dare castle queenside against me? Yeah, he dares to go into this line. I'm going to play quick d5. I have some strange fetish for d5. I don't know what's caused this fetish. Sometimes I have some fun games from this position. Oh, I take that pawn. That's not fairy. Okay, nice centre pawn to take, opening up the dragon bishop along the diagonal. Now, I think h5 is played to try and slow down the ripping open of the h file. This is a very violent opening, one of the most violent, I believe, in chess. Got to be careful, even after I've won this pawn. I don't want to be hacked to death, getting ready with resources like rook h8. If he took g4, rook h8 maybe, and encouraged g5, knight e8, as long as I don't drop d5, this should be okay, right? e5, I can encourage knight takes to strengthen my centre, open up that b file. I don't like losing dragon bishop, but that's life. It's lost, it's gone, it's a distant memory. All it's left is the remnants, the dark square weaknesses of the fianchetto. Gone. Okay. Nevertheless, there's still a b file if he takes here. There's still d4 if I've got my centre pawn. I can play d4, right? Now what do I do here? Do I play takes? I'm wondering. Knight takes? I'm wondering g4 might have some venom later. That's kind of blocking in his g4 and g takes. If I open up the bishop, then g4 is actually more effective. So I wonder if I play knight d5 here. I can always go into e3. That looks pretty tasty. He's going to e3 actually. Tempted by this now. Now g4 I can answer with rook h8 without having the impact of this bishop so much because of that pawn on f3. So yeah, in a way I think that's helping white. It's also opening up that f file. So here I think I can keep things pretty stable with this, I hope. Now if he takes an f4, maybe I've got rook takes h4 there. Yeah, so by not taking there's a GM on YouTube which says to take is a mistake. So I think that might have improved the opponent's position in two ways: opening up the f file and making the bishop more dangerous for supporting g takes h5. So here, yeah, I think it's good news so far. Knight e3 seems to fork rook and bishop. Looking out for tactics. Queen takes I don't think is on. I've got my queen protected by knight and rook. So am I forking the rook and bishop? I guess he'll give up the exchange here or try something violent. Now, I am attacking that bishop though, so no knight g5. I think I'll just take the bishop. If the bishop moves, knight takes d1, probably followed, might be tempted to play hg then, and bishop takes g4. No, I don't believe that. I do not believe this. I cannot believe it. I'm taking it. Now there is knight e6 if the bishop wasn't here, but fortunately I do have a bishop on c8 here, so let's see. Alright, can I take on g4? No, I don't want to get at all complacent about this position. There are many pitfalls in chess, and one of the causes is complacency, especially in winning positions, or what you think is winning. So I want to make sure that, especially this knight and my rooks, if they get connected, I'll have more confidence. I'm not going to... Rook g1, bishop h5, knight e6 is an example of a disaster scenario. But, yeah, rook g1, rook h4, you can create that disaster with rook takes. And then knight e6. So I've got to be wary about this knight e6. Let's put the bishop here, covering e6. And I want to play queen e7, just to get out of this theoretical fork scenario. Alright, it's got queen f5 if... Yeah, not yet, because knight takes. So can I play this? Or maybe queen f6 is tighter to hold f5. So I want to hold f5 under theoretical conditions like rook e3, queen f5. It's not happening really. I'm just trying to make sure, get rid of these awkward configurations for my position. This, that's holding the bishop. Now I'm wondering, if b6, knight here, bishop takes, I'm on the queen. Simplify, just simplify with b6 potentially. b6. I mean, that's what I want to do. I'm not sure beyond that. Okay, can I take here? I'm planning simply b6. Right, things are getting violent now. Can I not just take that, or do I take on g5? What's the danger here? I'm thinking... I'm not sure. I'm going to take the knight. Now if I play knight d4. Okay, thanks for the game, commentator. C Saba. Okay. e4. e4. I've been playing e3 a bit this week for fun. Getting some good games out of e3. But e4 is more adventurous and aggressive in a way. Right. If I stop this b5 stuff, and there was a game which this reminds me of, Nigel Short playing white against John Spillman, where Spillman played in some sort of hyper-modern way and got smashed in about 20 moves. I remember Spillman was really annoyed. I bumped into him, and he says, "Oh, no one likes a clapped out." So I'm just a clapped out grandmaster now. He described himself as a clapped. He was pretty pissed off after this game, playing black against Short in one of the British Championships. All Short did was like classical play with bishop here, just classic looking play against fanciful hyper-modern stuff, but it did the job. Sometimes this kind of classic setup against the hyper-modern double fianchetto, it does the job. Let's see. I can't remember the exact details of the game beyond the opening. Funny enough. Okay, but e5. I think I'm making him succeed. He's succeeded. He's threatening c4, threatening my bishop. And let's give some square for my bishop. And then there's knight f5 potentially. So what about queen d2? And then I'm dropping e5. This is not good. Maybe I should just take to start off with. This isn't good. I've got to give my bishop a square. Okay, I'll try this to hold d4. I'd ideally like to blockade the bishop inside the pawn chain with knight d4. Now knight f5 is a trick to hit my queen. Oh no. Am I giving up both bishops? And takes, take. You can take here, rook c1. Where does that knight go? Knight b4. It might be worth a punt. Oh, my rook's attacked now. Can I get back into the game here? Right, bishop c6 to d6. Bishop c7 to d6. Yeah, my e5 is vulnerable. Right, if I just take that. And no, I haven't achieved anything, have I? Just trying to, if I get g5, that's g4. Make g4. Try and weaken his pawns a little bit. Knight d4 might be something. Alright, so if I do this, I've got knight b5 without losing a rook. Okay, at least I've got some air for the king. Some luft. Now rook c8. Can I take and then knight d6? As long as that's not a killer past pawn, that's forking a rook somewhere and a bishop, and also I've still got knight e6. So knight d6 is actually my threat here, right? Oh, that's good because he's given me rook c7. Rook c7 is my threat now. This position has improved significantly, I believe. Knight d3 is just giving me rook c7. Alright, thanks for the game. You had a great position there. Great position, I didn't really know. Alright, Sebi. 1996. Sebi. Who's 2021. Let's play this center game. So this is inspired by Shirov. When Shirov did really well at Lloyd's Bat Masters. Winning Lloyd's Bat Masters when he was 18 or something. I've had some fun games of that. There is a technical line which an IM played against me recently involving exchange sack. Quick exchange sack with rook e4. I think you need to know it though. So this was inspired by Steve Wessel, one of my, rest in peace, one of my former club mates. He used to play this. Can I play this just to be able to maybe put my queen on h2? Maybe this, and then queen g2. If knight e5, queen g2. Do you want a castle and maybe like? Oh, have I done something wrong? I was expecting knight e5. I should have castled earlier. Depends, if he makes a concession like c5, this might all make sense after castling for me, because d5 might be compromised later with g5 and knight d5. So does he want to move this knight back or support it? It's a bit committal to support the knight in terms of pawn structure. So I think this is interesting now. If I have g5, h4, knight d5, in the meantime knight e5, queen g3, that sort of thing. f4, f5 might be interesting here, given he's played bishop e6. Maybe g5, f5. g5, h4, f5. I'm curious if his idea is d5. Right. Okay. I'll drive this away from d5. So this gives me the option of knight d5 in the event of b4. I can... Oh, I didn't see that one. Let's not drop e4. Hang on, I can get 3 pieces for the queen. G takes. Now, last time I tried 3 pieces of the queen, I lost horribly. But it looks okay with knight d5. Oh, crikey, I'm tempted. I know last time I talked about this and the practicalities of playing in such a way. Sometimes the coordination of pieces is too much to handle. Maybe I should have played CD as an example. Generally, 3 pieces for the queen should be a bit of fun, right? Okay, my centre might be collapsing. That's one snag. c4, knight d5. My centre's about to collapse. Queen e6, f5. Alright, maybe I can kick this knight. It gives my bishop b1. Alright, so b4, c4, or just wait for this. I'm going to target g7. One of my favourite videos seems to be positional queen sacrifice by there's Metanov on my Kingscrusher channel if you want to check out this. He did a queen sack for 2 pieces, and he had a magnificent knight on d5. And it drove the attack quite well. It was quite sound in many respects. In other words, I don't think it was totally losing, but so there's Bentonov white against Chernikov. Was it Chernikov? I think it was Chernikov. But this is 3 pieces is surely pretty good. If I can double the rooks, I can try and invoke some dark square weaknesses, right? Okay. Try and get this into the attack, this pawn. f5. We'll double the rooks. a4, a3, b3, b takes, bishop takes, knight b4. By that stage, knight f6. King moves. I want rook g6. Do I want f5 or to double the rooks? I think f5 takes and e5 is dangerous, but this looks dangerous actually. If we swap these knights off, I don't think that's too terrible for me. If he plays knight e5. Let's see, 95. I don't think I mind that. I don't think I mind king h7 necessarily, because... Well, knight g5... Oh, okay. Can I take here? If I open up this diagonal with e5... There's g7... a3 might be a concern here. Can I play bishop c4? Now if he takes, knight takes his mate. Bishop c4, it's very dangerous, surely. So even if knight takes its mate... Alright, thanks for the game, Sebi. Fenneman. Okay, Fenneman. Let's play this again. Shirov says, I like Shirov. I'm going to just go for this. I like this position very much. Although, probably f4 first. Yeah, I have good results in this. Generally speaking. Although that appears to be a good move. Alright. Didn't really want to do that. I think, yeah, knight c6, that was a good idea. If I can get bishop c4, knight g5 though. Alright, let's try this and castle queenside. It makes a little bit of sense, I think. Even with f5, I can play g4, g5 maybe. If I overtake, then I split the pawns up. And maybe bishop h6, g7, taking on f6. Connect my rooks. He's an opponent at the moment. So bishop c4 might be good. It might be a target tactically. Knight a5. What about, say, bishop f7 or bishop e3? Even if I gave up that bishop, does it matter? I want to play g5 here. It looks like some sort of minority attack. It can probably do some structural damage to play g5. Now, giving up this bishop for the knight, do I want to do that? To be honest, I don't know. I'm going to risk it. Maybe I should take with the a pawn. So I'm banking on my knights more, doing the damage. Okay, let's see. So g5. Exchange of rooks. My immediate threat is rook h8, winning the rook. I think knight d5 and looks okay. Knight d5 and rook h8. Well, so how is this addressed? King e7, there's knight d5 check. King f7, there's g6 check. Sort of a mating there. Right, okay, I'll take here and hit this pawn. And hit the pawn again. I'm going to have a pass to f pawn. Try and work on this f pawn, and the e5 pawn is a bit looser now. Rook on the 7th. Bishop g5 here. Yeah, thanks to the game, Fenman. Duke Crusher. Hi there, fellow Crusher. I'm ready for this gambit system, which is not accepting. I think I'm going to be boring here and consider taking for bishop b5. Right. And I've weakened my king. But f4. I'm not taking too many risks. I'm threatening f5. I'm wondering you can probably just take here and yeah, it's double-edged stuff. This created a vacuum, but I'm thinking f5 is, I don't know what he does about the bishop necessarily. If I played g5 here, just try and make use of the bishop with h4, h5 later. It's blocked in at the moment. I can maybe support that and my light squares with dropping the bishop back. And can I play this? I get that f4 square. That could be good for knight e2 to f4. Now if he doubles, then I got bishop a3 maybe later. So I got at least two plans: knight e2 to f4. Okay, bishop here to f3 and h4, h5 supported. Maybe bishop f3, knight e2 to f4, h4, h5. So bishop f3, knight e2 to f4. Bishop moves back, h4. Maybe even king g2, rook h1. It looks like a nice position, potentially. There's always f4 to factor in. Maybe bishop f4 first, just to make sure f4 is not happening. That liberates the knight, the bishop. So bishop f4 first. Do this very slowly, this plan. Bishop f4, bishop f3, knight e2, king g2, that sort of thing. Okay, in the meantime, alright. Well, c5 tactically for cd, bishop c5. Tactically, I'm going to get my king away from here. Maybe h2's okay. Or a3 just to strengthen the center. Okay, it's like a what is it like? There goes my night plan. Alright, go with this one anyway. So king g2, bishop f3, maybe even king g3 there for rook f2, queen h1, on d5, pushing for h5. Oh, he's gonna play f4, isn't he? I'm not keeping a grip on the position, am I? Okay. Alright, plan now, maybe. Ooh, h5 and g6 looks good. And he's got queen g5 potentially coming up. I can just take on g5. Oh, what a muppet. I mean, when I talk about muppet, I mean me being a muppet. Okay. I'm going to try and not be mated here now. So bishop g4. What a moron I am. Okay. Total moron. Okay, I've got a g file. There's upsides to this. There's a g file. There's also rook g4. Oh, now there's bishop f5. Right, I think he had bishop h. Things are going too quick. I'm moving too quick. He's moving too quick. We're both moving too quick. There's opportunities being missed at every move, I think. If I can play rook takes f4. Knight takes c2, rook g1. How is this position? It looks as though I've got loose bishops everywhere. Okay. If I play bishop d1, knight takes, or bishop g4, maybe bishop g4 threatens bishop f5. Now there's potentially e6. Let's get this bishop out of harm's way. And it's double here, that's a nice pin. E6 is possible because takes, rook takes. Or just bishop takes. I seem to have got some coordination. And bishop e5. Protect this guy for a moment. Double the rooks with this. Is he queening? Yeah, that got a bit chaotic. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, nothing. My plans were just too long in the future. The immediate stuff was just always more important. I've got a plan here at the opening. Bishop d3 and knight e2 is my plan. To try and avoid the pins and stuff. The pin. So knight e2. Because otherwise this d4 can be annoying. There's pressure on d4. Knight. Tempted with d5. I'll play it, see what happens. I can lose the bishop. Hang on. No. It's queen a4 check. This splits the opponent's pawns. I think I'm happy with that structure. I shouldn't have done that as a pre-move. I could play bishop g4 there. That would be embarrassing to lose the queen. That was a naughty pre-move I've just played. It's not the casting. Bishop g7 threatens. That also maybe queen f3 taking on f6. g4. If there's no bishop g5, it's pinned. Knight f6, bishop g7, bishop g4, f3. I can try this. So, yeah, knight g, bishop g4, f3. So I'm not sure how. Okay, black plays now. Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now, okay, thanks for the game, Tully. Lorena? So, Lorena. Okay, might have to bought this one. I'll challenge me later if you want. Game of pawns. Just want to make sure it's all premium members. There's one from non-premium decline there. Okay. I'll play this centre game again because it's a bit of fun. Something different, fresh, original. Variety is the spice of life. I'm sure you don't want to see endless Roy Lopez, you know, whatever. Berlin variation. Don't expect this to be appearing in any World Chess Championship in the future, though, this line. I've had this position. Isn't that 95? I've had this position before. Queen d4. Now on Queen d4, I've got some options. I can play, well, Queen d4 is my concern because I don't want to drop e4 necessarily. So Queen d4, if I consider Bishop d3, well, I'll just go into this line here, knight c7, king moves, knight takes, queen takes e4, maybe bishop e2, knight d4. What's happening here? Intriguing. That line had a concern with knight d4 actually, because there was c2. It had a big concern to it. Now here, looks okay. More than okay. What is my plan now? I'm just going to trap my bishop. It's not very nice. Try and give the bishop a square. Okay, what about knight d4? Is that an idea? Knight d4. Then knight f5. Or knight takes f6. Oh no, rook f8. What's happening there? Is there a bit of dreaded counterplay or something? Oh, I can fix these pawns. Now knight d4 threatens knight e6. So I'm threatening knight e6. Now knight d4. Alright, let's simplify maybe by taking on c6. Just to simplify and simplify again. In fact, this is winning a piece, isn't it? King's overloaded. King takes, knight takes. If bishop takes, well, there's rook e1. Thanks for the game, Game of Pawns. Tricanti. I'll play this gambit system, which I've had some success in. Oh, it hasn't done. Try and make it a gambit again. Nope. There's no gambits on the cards here. gambitless. However, this looks like a position where we're heading into potentially a Greek gift, because there's no defensive knight on f3, so h2 is be more sensitive later. So there might be bishop d6, h5, bishop h2. Greek gift is to be feared, potentially. Is it better to take that? If I don't, my pawns are wrecked. Right. I'll take it for a moment. So I want to play h5 if he castles. Or even bishop, maybe bishop takes knight g4. Maybe it works there. Okay. So I can free the bishop or something. Does he want me to castle before he castles? I could try and castle to try and tempt him to castle. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. b3 if I castle. He's got bishop b2. I'm castling. I'm castling. Putting these pawns forward. d4 might be threatened. I can win a pawn at some cost. You can play bishop takes. Bishop takes. His king's not castled yet. The dark squares might be vulnerable. I'll try it, yeah. I think I might have to shut the window actually, I'm afraid. If that's, I don't know if that music carries on. It wasn't intended. Barbecue music or something. Okay, it stopped for some reason, which is good. I've got this rook switch, haven't I, as well? Well, I know Tarash did a double bishop sack against Nimzovich. I covered that game recently, but I'm not sure it's working too well here. If I'm getting another bishop. Okay, thanks for the game, Tricanti. Okay, Olaf. Let's see. If I play knight d5, I'll do this first. Try and grab the light square bishop. It gives me f4. It's pretty quick, isn't he? Maybe I put the bishop on b1 here. That means he can't use so easily e5 if I play let's take some b4. I can pin that first to avoid knight d5. I don't like losing centre pawns sometimes. When you lose centre pawns, you lose sometimes central control. Okay, d6, trying to undermine. There's c6 kind of winning material. Because rook takes, there's queen takes. If rook takes, I'm not getting back where I made, the queen takes. If knight takes, c takes, and if he takes my queen, I take his rook. So I think c6 wins material. So let's run this through again. Knight take. Oh, thanks for the game, Alaf. Molly, Alloy. I think e4. It's not round. Maybe challenge later. Oh well. Okay. Thingy. Can't pronounce your name. CYUFU2U. CF2. I don't know. Is this guy around? Is anyone around at the moment? Come on, guys. I think there's a tick box. If you want to challenge me, there's a tick box to automatically create game. I've heard. I haven't tried it myself. I keep hearing about some tick box. Maybe they changed the software since. I don't know. Underrated FM? Has it just started? Let's see. That's unusual. Wow, I didn't expect that. Maybe it's a novelty or something. I don't know, but it means I can get my centre entrenched. I was more worried about lines that get blown up in the centre. You know, there's ways of blowing up the white centre quite quickly. Maybe I should have considered f5. It's not too late. Now, is it stronger to take and a knight f4 or just knight f4? That's an intriguing question. You see, the thing is, if I take and then knight f4, he's got knight f8 as an example, and I've still got the option. If I played on move order knight f4, knight f8, I've still got the option of f6. So I'm wondering to play knight f4 here. Not that f6 does anything. And if I just play this and rook b1, should I keep the queens on? I can take here first. I think the knight's holding the queen. Now if I took here, or rook b1 he takes, rooks come off. Rook b7 hits a7, d7, so in that respect, I'll play this. Okay. We got that. Okay. Have I got knight b4? Don't think it does anything. Give some air for my king. Maybe king g3. Strengthen. I'm wondering what he's doing. He's not doing much, is he? Oh, I seem to have lost connection there. I'll just make sure my preview is okay. Okay, my preview is okay. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, that was an interesting game. So Lee, I have to put an extra at least 10 minutes to cope with that. Sorry about that. That's at least 10 minutes. Make a note, 10 minutes. Okay, I hope you guys are still around. Sorry about that. Sorry. Is Lee around? I hope you guys are still around. Sorry, I just have to wait for my connection to come back. Sometimes it's been a bit temperamental recently. Okay, Simli's still around? Alright. Let's go into that challenge. Okay, Putrov. Oh, we're going to play a London system, huh? Right. I'll tell you now. Castle. I'll try and isolate his pawns. I'm thinking E5 is interesting. To try and sort of break open the diagonal. Let's see, so if he took knight g4 with a vengeance to get the pawn back, I kind of isolated this pawn, kind of potentially extended the bishop. A bit fragmentational. Okay, so knight e5. It looks like I play b5 here. There's rook a3 on knight b6. Okay, you can take on b5, but you can also take on c8. But I still think this is interesting. Alright, if I take on c3, I don't think this is going anywhere, so I think I need to take on c3 first as priority, because c4 could happen. But here, e6 can't so easily. I can just probably just take it. There's knight d5. If we go here, so I want to play knight takes e5, I think, and well, take it from there. It looks as though I've sort of done the damage structurally, at least, and I liberated the bishop. By the way, is the volume okay? Did everything remain intact, like volume okay? Sorry about that disconnection. Oh yeah. No, I'm still hoping to get my pawn back with a little bit of interest. But he's got f7 actually. I've got to watch out for f7. What if I took the bishop instead? That would hold f7. So I'm on the rook there. The knight's not bad, I think. So takes knight g5, king g7. Got past C pawn here as well. So knight g5, king g7, knight f3. Have I got anything special there? I'll do this. I'm not sure. What if I stop knight g5? If I played h6, is that crazy? Because I'm thinking that knight g5 is a pain. And he's got rook c5. Can I stop rook c5 as well? I want to maintain my knight. I want to get to grips with this position with king g7. Okay, and double the rooks. Double the rooks around about here. Let's assume. Is g5 possible? Let's check. I can see that check. That's a shame. So they're trying to make me. It's not very nice. If I take, there might be an escape square over here. Can I take on h3? If I can take on h3 and avoid getting mated. King h2. Pin. Alright, now have I got king g3 here? Here? I've got a bee in the room. Great. Or a wasp, even worse. Alright, thanks for the game, Putrov. Okay, so Goku. Let's play King's Engine. With c5. This is a gambit, which he's not accepting. I want him to play d5, 95. It's a bit of fun. Right now, fun begins, I hope, with b5. Sort of gambit unsound. Yeah, why did this occur to me? It's interesting. Don't know. I can threaten something here. Bishop takes, rook takes. Also, knight takes is useful for getting the e5 square. Okay. f6 or knight takes. f6 seems to trap the bishop. The thing is, am I getting hacked to death? What the FG? Maybe there's bishop d4. The opponent's disconnected. He's got a lovely internet light here. Okay, knight f6 gives me rook b2 and knight e4 almost. It's knight e4. So I might be getting hacked to death on the h file. Knight f6 takes, knight g4 looks dangerous for both sides. I hope. Rook f2 springs to mind. Or bishop d4 just to keep the dark square bishop. Maybe bishop d4, g7, rook f2, king d3. It looks dangerous to play this. If he castles bishop e3, I'm threatening maybe rook f2 and rook b2. As long as I don't get mated too quickly, this should be fun. Rook f2, queen d3, rook takes b2. Also gives me queen a5, puncturing the c3. Knight support. Rook f2, primary threat maybe. The check, I don't think that's great. Let's think. G7, rook f2, queen d3. Rook b2, queen h3. I'm not sure how he gets the attack. going, oh, maybe there's knight f6 and queen h8 after. Right, so this sort of thing, queen d3 to h3. I need to play it in such a way I'm not getting murdered. What's this? If I take, I have queen e7 for h7. Why can't I just take that? h6 is covered by the knight. There's bishop at e3 here. I don't want him to double the rooks necessarily. Is there a safe way of playing this? The knight covers h6, and so in other words, knight g4, rook h3. I can keep h3 covered with knight g2 though. Keep things more simple. Forget this doubling of rooks. I'm playing fg, knight f4. Can I keep things simple? Knight f4, knight takes g6. Check, check. King f7, if you please check king e8. You better speed up a bit. Oh, crikey. Let's go on the counter attack before I get mated here. Queen e3. Okay, it's getting a bit scary. Queen down. Queen up. It was getting a bit scary. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, I could just seek 94, 96, and that would be really embarrassing. That would be really cruel. I just had to get my queen. The queen is the top scorer in chess. It's worth remembering that. If you like football, the queen is the top scorer. So try and work out theoretical vulnerabilities first, then see how your top scorer can handle the situation. The queen, b6, e3, it's the top scorer. It's worth having the queen bouncing along diagonals. Okay. It's worth being a queen up. Okay, I'm going to abort this and go on to the next one. Okay, banana monkey. Banana is good for potassium, actually. I see a lot of GMs having bananas. Alright, anyway. Oh, okay. We'll play d4 here. Maximum 2 a day I would recommend, personally. Unless you're a tennis player or something. I think they're good for the muscles and stuff. I don't know. Check it out. But I've definitely seen grandmasters have bananas. I've seen monkeys at Gibraltar. Gibraltar is good for monkeys. If you want a chess tournament with monkeys, go to Gibraltar. Lauren DaCosta was telling me a tale. He got mauled by a monkey on the way to a game, and he lost the game, funny enough, in Gibraltar. But it's a good tourist attraction. Okay, so he said to me, but all people see is the score sheet in the database after. They don't have the full story on it. That he was attacked before the game. So that's all you get. Queen e2 to f3. What about... Let's see. Is this becoming highly uncomfortable or something? Was it my imagination? Knight d5, queen e5, you can threaten mate. If I play g3, he's got g5. I'm just going to be winning h3 later. If I played knight e2, queen e5, I've got bishop f4, I think. Maybe knight e2 is the best of the lot. Just lose c3. Rook b1, bishop b2 after on that diagonal. There's weaknesses. Well, it's protecting c3 anyway. Alright, let's try this. So with queen e5, I'm ready to answer with bishop f4. Can I play here, bishop d2? I'm wondering, my idea is to relieve the knight of duty, to play knight g3. If he wants to undouble my pawns, he's welcome to. Maybe I should. I get a tempo. There's an idea, maybe bishop e3 to d4. So knight c4, bishop d4, another tempo. Now force off the queens. So undouble my pawns. Knight e3, there's rook f2. I'll play here then in this case. Get this rook into action as knight d2. Maybe f5 is more worth playing. He's got rook g3 and knight e4. I better avoid that. So rook f2 was a victim to that. Alright, going to dissolve some pawns here. Rook d2 to keep my second rank intact. King g3 to f3. Try and activate the king. Or not. c4 for d5, a pass pawn. Might be worth trying to create. Or a5, a6 to try and damage the pawn structure. Both. There's rook b2 here. Rook e7. Alright, so a6, rook a2, rook c4, rook a6, rook d4, rook a7. It might be worth playing a6. Alright, pass pawn, outside pass pawn here. Potentially, you could suppress it with g5 though. Ah. Ouch. I just dropped a pawn, haven't I? Ouch. Ah. Maybe there was rook a6 there anyway. Okay, that's fine. There's rook a6 if he takes that guy. Not here though. Can I go for rook g4? Try and hold this. Ouch. Go behind the pawn for the checks. What's this pawn forward? Force the pawn forward, then go for the checks. So I'm hoping this is a drawing position. I'm going to offer a draw. Yeah, well played. Very well played. Did we play Molly on the... We didn't get a game. Okay, Molly Alloy. I don't know. Okay, it's French defense, knight c6. Generally, if you can get the pawn to commit, then you go round the back with the checks. It's one of the first things International Master Andrew Martin, he once gave me a coaching session. He emphasised that actually, basics of rook and pawn endings. I remember that. He was saying you don't want to have a long game where you can't draw that when you should be able to, and it's like textbook position. So yeah, it's an infinite check scenario. If you can get the pawn committed. I'm getting bishops off. Wonder if I don't want to improve his position. If I had taken that, I think I'm sort of improving his position in a very uncomfortable manner. I can't do anything about e6 probably if I'd taken the bishop. So to take is a mistake sometimes. Alright, can I do knight f8 to try and handle this e6 business? So knight f4. On knight f4 there might be bishop takes, and if knight takes, there might be knight takes. Okay. If I play knight g6 here, it's sort of looking, I don't know, dangerous for me, but I don't know if that knight should be on f8 or he can smash my pawns to smithereens. That's probably not very healthy. Taking knight f4. Can I play f5 here? Is that crazy? You can just take and then take on e6. Right, what about knight f8? f5, bishop d7, f6, g6. Shaky. Although I remember this game of Adams against Peter Large, where Peter Large had this f5, but later was weak on the dart squares. This might be an analogous example where I'm hoping the opponent will then get mated on g7 if I'm not careful. If he took with the rook, is it worth thinking about g takes? I don't want his queen coming to h6 particularly. g6, knight f4. Oh, I think I'm getting hacked to death, unfortunately. With the path of maximum resistance. I'm trying. I'm just getting hacked to death here. Takes. Doesn't look very appetizing at all. I'm just being hacked. It's Queen F6 here, it's not mate, is it? Oh, it is mate. Oh. Alright, I was wrong. Yeah, I thought I was getting hacked to death there, and I was getting hacked to death. Alright, so yeah, okay, thanks. That's how it happens sometimes. For a glimmer of a moment, I thought he'd made some mistake there, but the position was way too strong. If I played b5, sort of, or e5. b5 he can kind of just win a pawn. e5 is also not entirely appetizing. However, d6 is protected. So if I can get to play h6 and knight c7 and in the long run arrange pardon me. Okay, that's changed everything. I thought f5 was a long way to prepare. Queen e7, bishop d4. Okay, I still think Queen e7 might be okay. Alright. A bit passive. b5 again is ruled out. d6 is a bit vulnerable. I'm not really sure. Okay, I'm not really sure what to do. I guess I can try this horrible move. I don't know, they're all horrible. b5, c takes, it's horrible. Alright, I'll choose the lesser evil, whatever, I don't know. It's all not looking glamorous at the moment. Okay. Bishop g5, bishop f6, maybe. So maybe h4 is useful. for something. Knight h1, h3. Okay. Form pawn. Provoke f4. Doesn't count. Oh, maybe not. Ah, hang on. There's knight c6 to d4 there. Knight c6 to d4 on f4. This could be really handy. F4 knight c. Yeah, I like that. I've got that. You know, yeah. This c6. I didn't think of that before. Okay, so knight c6 to d4. Of course, that makes sense. Improving the knight. I think a lot of my worries seem over if I have knight d4. You could take on h3 for sure. That's fine in a way if he wants to do that, because I think, well, actually I'm only threatening knight b3. It's a technicality really. I don't really want to lose my knight. Alright, I think knight takes h3 actually does mean knight g5. Alright, so bishop d1, okay. I think this protects h3. I know, concession is knight d5. Maybe just queen d8. Potentially there's this knight f3 tactic if the bishop wasn't protecting f3. Okay, let's run through this. Knight d5, queen d8. What does white do here? Actually now, that's kind of weakness in the last move actually, in terms of b5, so I can play b5 here. Except there's a takes that holds the pawn. Okay. C pawn might be safer because e5 would open up that diagonal. Safer for my king anyway, probably. Probably want to remove this knight, then play b5. So bishop e6, taking b5. Even if he wins a pawn, well, it depends if he takes this way. I'm not opening up the b file. Aren't I threatening something here with taking? And bishop h6. No, that knight's pretty awesome actually, and he's also got queen d4. Let's just put this back for a moment. I don't want to lose d4. This is falling to bits. This game. Okay, it's funny. All right, can I just get rid of this knight because I hate it? I hate this knight on d5 now. Go away, knight on d5. Alright, it was a very good position, obviously, for Kaz for a large percentage of the game. Johan. I did have a French defense last week, I think, which was okay, as far as I recall, in the knight c6 French. I wonder if we can have a further debate on that. Yeah, this might be free business. wasn't totally convinced with the bishop c6 plan. I have knight b8 if he wants this plan again. That's different, isn't it? There's knight b8 here. The pattern of last week's game, what was it about? It's not that relevant anyway. Let's analyse this position. Okay, I'm going to castle. Okay, let's take here. Try and relieve the possession a bit. Maybe c5, knight c6. He's not going to Greek gift me, is he? If my bishop's having controlling east g5, I'm hoping not to get hacked to death with a Greek gift. So let's see. I can put the bishop back on e7. Alright, I can play this. Don't mind that necessarily. Knight takes, or rook takes, queen takes, knight e5, queen e2. Okay, this bishop's bad for a while. Knight d4, knight d4, bishop c5, knight e6 though. Okay, let's get it out over here. Bishop g6, so that gives me bishop e4, some sort of compensation. Bishop's not quite a good piece all of a sudden. Oh, he's forcing it to go away, okay. E6 is a problem. I'm just wondering, I could take with a pawn actually, queen e6, a5 and double rooks behind this a5 business, but he's got b5 now, bishop c5 and knight f5. Oh, but what's happening here? Anyway, if I repeated, would it actually repeat? b5 a bit worrying. Get ready for. G5. Is that a move? Is my king getting too weak here? I'll play G4. Because if he takes rook G8, celebrating the bishop a bit, this move. So rook g8 coming up anyway, and then this one, stop f5. No, hang on, I'll lose a6. Don't want to lose a6. Again, I'm kind of defending that now because of rook g8. So a6 is a liability. There's bishop h4 here. That might be good news. I'm hoping it's good news and not just token exchange winning the exchange. Rook g4, bishop f2, king takes, rook takes, queen takes, rook g8. About yes. Actually, I'm concerned he's going to play f5 and rip out this diagonal to shreds. I want to keep a blockade on things. And that's not happening after my last move. That was really clever, wasn't it? Can I do this? As I might take this and suffer e6, which is not the case necessarily as the best course of action. Not nice. Do I have to do this horrible move? Takes h6. I can create a battery there on h6 potentially. So there's knight f4. There's rook h6. I'm going to do that in advance. If I get my king over here now, or h4, maybe for h3. Nope. Bishop f5 for d4 would be handy in some respects. For queen d7, rook d1, bishop f3. So d4, bishop d4, queen d7. There's got a check there, right? d3 for rook h1. Rook h1 here. Ooh, I got a bit lucky there. That was so much pressure. I knew that f5 was bad news for me, even though it was the exchange down. That was bad news for my position, that f5, because he had that beautiful dark square bishop unchallenged. That was okay. I might make this the last game today. I hope you all enjoyed it to some extent. You know, 1 fun, 10 boring. If you want to vote, 1 fun, 10 boring. This will be the last game, I think. Is this the reverse Siberian trap or something? The dreaded reverse Siberian trap against the reverse Smith-Morra gambit. Now, normally, if I was playing with white, I'd play for knight d4 with white, i.e. knight d5 with white, knight d4 with black. So rook c8 and something like knight d4 later. Okay. Castling, rook c8 and knight d4 to try and use the e-file in reverse. If this is a Smith-Morra gambit in reverse, that's the sort of thing I'd do. If he's not going to castle. So rook c8, knight d4. Okay. Rook c8, knight d4. The show's meant to be an hour and a half, technically. But I had that disconnection, so I'm counting like 10 minutes and stuff. He's in castle queenside, right? Is he castling queenside? Now I'm really tempted for this knight d4 business. Oh, he didn't use a piece there. Should I play b5, bishop d3, bishop e6, queen move somewhere? But where? Back to d1? D takes, protecting the bishop. Okay, let's think about this. Bishop's sort of, you'd think that theoretically as a loose piece here. Just needs some magical forcing moves to see if that's possible to do anything with that. But unfortunately, bishop e6, there's queen d1. I'll do it anyway. Queen d1 then. Right. Now this pawn's loose. If I take, yeah, just to extend the scope of the bishop, theoretically. Okay, I think it's fine, unfortunately, so I'll do this. Maybe for rook d8, at least. Some sort of issue there, maybe. Rook fd8. Maybe not. Okay, bishop d5. I mean bishop c4. Trying to get past pawn. Knight f5. Queen e6. Okay, I'm protecting that pawn at the moment. Knight e4 here, knight f5 though. Knight d5 might be more stable approach as knight f5. Alright, what about g6? Oh, crikey. What about if I just take and then queen e4? I don't think I've got anything particularly interesting. Unless rook c4, is that to try and create a pass pawn? Is that possible? Which could be tricky to handle. Oh. I just lost material. Oh, there's knight. Let's check. I'll just blunder the rook. Yep, that's gone. It's totally gone. Try this. Maybe there's. It's mostly gone. I love playing a rook down. I've just blundered the other rook as well. I think that's time to resign. Oh dear. Oh well. Yeah. Okay. Been a tough week. Thanks. Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. Well played. See you next week then. All right. Cheers then. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much.